Hi, your turn.
Good call.
Which one is it?
Let me get it real quick. I just fly through 'em.
y'all, this is Kevin Garner, and you're listening to Gainin Fast On Memphis podcast with Aaron Schreiber.
I'm gonna break her heart.
Welcome to the Gainin Fast On Memphis podcast with Aaron Schreiber, brought to you by Arlo Revolution. Each week, Aaron connects melodies and memories with fans and artists from all genres of life. When all else in life is gone, only music will be left to leave the legacy of life's adventures. Please welcome your host for the Gainin Fast On Memphis podcast, Aaron Schreiber.
What's going on, everybody? All right, we're going to check out audio, make sure everything's sounding good before we get rocking and rolling. If you guys are in the chat, let me know what you guys listen to tonight. It's going to be a fun one. I'm excited. I say that every week, but it's going to be a damn good one. How are we sounding over there?
I think we're good.
You think, or you know?
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good to you? Are you sure?
In my ear, sounds good.
All right, then. We'll rock and roll then.
You guys give us a thumbs up in the chat if you guys think we're sounding okay to you. Sounds good on our end.
Remember, you have a speaking part.
I can't believe we hit it out of the park the first time.
Don't say that yet.
All right. Everyone's sounding
Sounds great. All right.
Sounds good. So.
All right. You ready?
Hey. All right. Let's go.
You ready?
I think so.
Hello and welcome everyone to season 5 of the Gainin Fast On Memphis podcast, a place where we connect melodies and memories with fans, artists, and passion-driven individuals in and around the music community. I'm your host, Aaron Schreiber.
And I'm Jillian.
I was going to see if she nailed that one tonight. Our mission tonight is to provide a platform for passionate singer-songwriters, motivated fans, or just someone who is making a difference in the world and willing to share their stories. We hope everyone listening leaves inspired with a positive outlook on life and begins connecting their own melodies or memories with melodies. Tonight we are presented by our good friends at Arlo Revolution, cinematic wedding films, music videos, and promos. Find them at arlorevolution.com. Our on-screen sponsors, Art on a Higher Wire by Joel, original and custom artwork inspired by your life moments, treasured photos and memories, and Corey Oliphant and the original church choir. Each week I'm honored to have Corey and the OC as a sponsor. We thank all of our sponsors for continued support and growth of the show. If you enjoy listening and looking for ways to support or sponsor Gainin Fast On Memphis, we have opportunities for on-air and on-screen sponsorships. However, truly the heart and soul of our show is our Patreon fan page. Tier start at just $1. You can sign up for a full year and get 2 months free. Patreon is something you can't do. The next best way to support the show is to like, share, review, and subscribe anywhere you can find the show. All major podcast apps, but mainly if you're an iPhone user, a little purple, blue, whatever app color it is on your phone there. But is it purple?
It's purple.
I've seen it blue on other people's phone. So
okay.
You can change that and you can like modify that stuff a little bit.
I'm not that techie.
My sound fine. Yeah. Okay. I'm still set up over here. I sound like echoey to me, but I'm always sounds good. All right. But if you guys are listening to us back on a streaming platform, remember, join us live every Monday night or on some cases Tuesday nights. At 7 p.m. Make sure you interact with the show, the guests. If you can ask them questions, it's always fun to interact live. So definitely a fun place. But if you are looking to update or anywhere to miss the show, check us out on the website, GaininFastOnMemphis.com. And if you haven't seen yet, we just launched, I'm going to call it Tay's Corner. I called it Tay's Corner on Instagram the other day. I kind of like that little name.
I do like it. And Miss Tay is actually watching right now.
Oh, look at that. But if you guys are on it, make sure you check out the blog site. We released Taylor's first review, Morgan Wade at the Ryman Auditorium. I know she's covering Wilder Blue this Friday night at Sidetracks down in Huntsville. So amazing things coming out, Taylor. Can't wait to see what else she does with everything. Yeah, but other than that, I think we're ready to rock and roll. So you got anything tonight?
I think we're good.
Think we're good?
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. Tonight we welcome in Riverhouse artist Jordan Rowe. This South Carolina native is only 2 years into a 10-year town, and he's already making a statement. Tonight we talk about Jordan's journey that led him from drumming in church to Nashville and his dreams. So guys, go ahead and welcome on Jordan Rowe. There you are. What's up, buddy?
What's up?
How you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm great, man. I'm excited to talk to you, man. It's been a long time coming. You've been making some waves in Nashville, dude. I love what you're bringing to the table, dude. your style, your sound is just amazing things, dude.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. And I'm from South Georgia, not Carolina. You can't be
Did I say South Carolina, dude?
you can't be making me a Gamecock fan now. I'm all dog.
I wrote Georgia though.
I don't. You did write Georgia.
I know. I
think you just said Carolina. You did write Georgia.
I got all that damn reading on that first page. That's what I apologize. 'Cause I know how that is, man. That's fighting words.
It's SEC now. We can't be having Gamecocks up in here.
I lived down in Mississippi for a while, so I know how that is down there. So. Dude, so what I always do on this show, I want to throw it back to your earliest music memory, man. Maybe a concert you went to, your first concert, or something that kind of really stuck with you that really wanted to get you involved in music, dude.
Yeah, so my music background starts in church. When I was a kid, I grew up playing the drums in church and singing in church choir and all that stuff. So that's my first memories of music. Is being around a Southern Baptist church and singing gospel songs. But my first concert was actually Charlie Daniels down in Valdosta, Georgia at Wild Adventures. And that was my first concert. And I really didn't go to too many concerts growing up. We didn't have a lot of concerts around us other than Wild Adventures. And then Luke Bryan came through one time on farm tours. I saw him, Sam Hunt, and Chris Jansen was there. But those were kind of my earliest memories were church and farm tour.
Dude, I love that, man. I actually heard an interview when I was researching this, and you talking about old school Luke Bryan. I loved how you're like, oh, I love like the first two albums is that. But you mentioned my favorite Luke Bryan song. That's Tackle Box, dude. That damn song, dude, still to this day, that'd be all-time favorite Luke Bryan song.
Yeah, there were some good songs on those albums. That was my favorites.
Dude, I love that, man. And you're getting out of high school probably what, 2005, 2006 area around then?
No, I'm a baby. I'm 24.
I know. When did you graduate?
I graduated from high school in 2015.
2015. That's why I was about 10 years off. I was thinking about something else about 2005, 2006, because that's when Church's music came out. I was researching. I was like, I had that detail because you were talking about 06, 07 music. So damn, dude, you're a young man.
So that was kind of like the first time, that I started really grabbing hold and grasping music and grasping albums and kind of knowing what artists were which, because like 05, 06, I was like 9 and 10.
Yeah.
So that's when I really started, kind of realizing, hey, this is actually an artist and kind of picking my favorite artist, I guess you could say. So that was when, like you say, the early church stuff came out, and that early Luke Bryan stuff came out, and those were my favorites. When I get in the truck and listen to, oh yeah, there's, I've seen your pictures, geez, those bangs.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But yeah, so those were some of my first, artists and albums I grabbed hold of were those early Luke Bryan and Eric Church albums.
That just hit me. Can you imagine listening to Sinners? I'm sorry, I got thrown off by the camera. There we go. Can you imagine listening to Sinners Like Me album when you're 10 years old? Because like I was, man, I don't know how old I was.
Oh my gosh, we were a lot older than that.
22, 23, 23, I think, when I heard it.
Yeah.
Imagine, man, 10 years old hearing Sinners. That just like kind of got me going, dude. Like,
yeah,
different vibe right there.
I know. In our like pre warm up thing you sent, said something about lightning on there. And I remember hearing that song when I was like 9 years old, and it was kind of scary, honestly. You know what I mean?
Oh, man, dude, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, we'll talk about that one a little later for sure. But dude, that's why. That's
why so many people are influenced by like this up and like
really
younger.
Hit me right there.
Huh?
Like, it hit me right there when he's like 10 years old listening to Sinners. I'm like, damn.
It hit you that, or it hit you that you're that old?
No, it didn't hit me that I'm that old. It just hit me that like imagining, listen, like he's saying, like lightning being creepy.
And well, at that age, you probably don't even understand. Like, I can't even imagine understanding at that point,
Yeah,
you don't understand. Yeah.
That's crazy.
That was awesome.
Cool.
So, what was your parents listening to? Where were they growing you up on? Because like you grew up in church, around church a lot. Were they playing anything else around the house for you growing up?
Yeah, so a lot of Southern gospel. And then my dad, he was a big Alabama fan. And so he was, I can remember some of my earliest memories were rewinding a cassette tape, listening to Dixieland Delight. That was one of my favorite first songs. He loved Dixieland Delight. and Loving the First Degree by Alabama.
Mhm.
I remember jamming that one. A lot of Skinner,
Oh yeah, man.
Southern Rock 38 Special, all that kind of stuff. And then he also likes, more like 70s kind of Bee Gees type stuff. And it's all that kind of good stuff. And my mom, she's the same way. But mostly, in the car, we were jamming the country stations. So
I was gonna say I hear a little rock in you though too, man. Where you get that from? 'Cause I mean, some of that music you have a little upbeat on that, like little rock
yeah,
side. So.
I love Southern rock and some of like the older rock. If I'm working
Yeah.
out or growing up in baseball workouts and stuff, we were always listening to AC/DC and Guns N' Roses and all that kind of stuff. And I'm an Aldean fan too. So some of my earliest memories were listening to I'm blanking on the song now, but those early Aldean records that were so like Hicktown and Crazy Town, all that stuff.
That's my first church show. I actually saw Leonard Skinner in Mississippi, and Jason Aldean was opening up. And it was right when Hicktown was out, and I didn't even know who the other opener was. Someone in line told me, "Oh, is this some church guy?" I'm like, "Oh, this is gonna suck just to make everybody else sound better." And I went home listening to that. Man, who the hell is this church guy? And next thing I know, one of the biggest fans out there is like, "Holy shit, this guy's phenomenal."
Yeah.
But just seeing those guys together, it flowed really well. Those three back in the day. But, so Alan Jackson, Luke Bryan, all that early 2000. I know we mentioned Lunchbox or Tacklebox. Tacklebox is one of my all-time favorite.
Yeah.
For you though, when did you really start digging into writing? You said 9-10 years old. You kind of dug into like the songs and like the lyrics a little bit more. But for you, did you ever start doing any poetry, or where did your writing style come from?
So I never really did poetry. Now I will say I was good at it, like in school. If we had to do, English, like an English class or lit class, if we had to write poems and stuff, I always was good at it, and I was kind of like embarrassed by it. So like I would like write a good. Actually, one time we had a poem competition, and I was like, oh, I could win this. And I remember it was like 5th grade or something, and I wrote this poem. I don't remember what it was called, and like I won a poem competition. And I was so embarrassed when I didn't know they were going to announce the winners at like our school, awards show or whatever. And I was like, gosh, why did I do this? But I remember like it came kind of easy. But I just I didn't tell anybody about it. You know what I mean?
Hey, you and I got something in common, because I actually have a 2nd place creative writing trophy somewhere.
Exactly.
This little flag is like in the district, like creative writing, like senior year. I was like, yeah, I got something. I got the senior award day for it.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, man. So that, and going back to songwriting, I remember, I was trying to think back today. I remember writing my first song. I don't remember what it was called, but I remember I was probably around 13 or 14. I just kind of picked up the guitar, and I remember it was like a worship song. I'll Fly Away is one of my favorite songs, and I was trying to write like something that felt like that. I don't remember what it's called.
At least it wasn't about a girl, because at 13 years, like, all right, I just wrote this song about my first heartbreak.
Yeah, no. But anyways, yeah, so I started writing that kind of stuff, and then I didn't do it a lot. I mean, I remember like sporadically writing a couple songs, and then when I was a senior in high school, I was singing in a choir concert in our high school, and I needed a song keyed down. And so I asked around, I was like, asking my chorus teacher if she knew anybody that could key a song down. And she was like, I know this guy over in Moultrie, the next town over, and he can key a song down for you. So I go to his studio. He has like a pool house studio. His name's Gary DiBenedetto. And I go in there, we keyed this song down and stuff, and he got it talking. He was like, have you ever considered like putting out your own music? And I was like, I always thought about it, but I mean, I haven't really ever tried. And he was like, go write some songs and come over here and let's record them, see how it goes. And I'm like, okay. So I literally went home, wrote 6 songs. He was like, you do an EP, like 5 or 6. I'm like, okay. So I go home, write 6 songs, and took those 6 songs, all 100%ers, over there to Moultrie, and he sent them off and hired some help out of Nashville to track them and stuff, and we put them out. And that was the first EP. I took it down now. Some of those, I didn't know you were supposed to write 100 and then pick 4 or 5 from them. So
Everybody could be Eric Church. Come on, dude.
yeah. So but listening back, like they weren't that bad. I mean, I had the basics,
Yeah, you're going with 100 all the time, though. I mean, come on. I mean,
Yeah.
every now and then you got to throw a few in there and at least go for it. But
Yeah.
dude, that's awesome.
That's really cool.
It's cool that all that how it works out in the long run. Now, do you have any dream co-writes, man? Like I see you've thrown in your hat in name or your name in the hat with a lot of other writers in Nashville.
Mhm.
You're on River House. I know Driver Williams is over there. You're a Church fan. Have you wrote with Driver yet, or?
Yeah. Me and Driver are buddies, and we
Hell
wrote several songs together. We actually wrote one, I don't know, maybe a couple months ago now with Hunter Phelps.
Oh,
It's a banger. I'm super pumped. We just recorded it like 2 weeks ago, maybe, and I played it live at our showcase this past Wednesday. And it's called 5 O'Clock in the Country. And I feel like, I don't know when, but I feel like it'll definitely is gonna come out sometime.
You're gonna cut this one?
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Yeah, dude. I mean, he has some fire songs out, and that's why I love that he's coming around more as a songwriter and everything.
The only way I won't cut it is if Eric wants it. If he wants it, I'm gonna be like, all right, bucket list check.
Right? Hell yeah, dude.
But we'll see.
I'm gonna say that's a rare one because you only cut 2 or 3 now that other people wrote. So I mean, it's very rare that he'll do that, but it happens. So
yeah.
But anybody that you haven't wrote with yet that around Nashville, that hey man, I really want to try to get this co-writer. Who are you looking for, man, to put on your list?
Probably Dean Dillon is at the top of that list. For me, if you're listening out there and don't know who Dean Dillon is, Google that name. There's a documentary. He wrote so many of the George Strait songs and Keith Whitley stuff. Literally everybody you know, he's written a song for him just about. Marina Del Rey, The Chair. The Chair is such a masterpiece. Like, that's so underrated. It's such a cool song.
There's so many George songs, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's just a Texas thing or because I mean, you know how Texas kind of holds its artists, and like everybody's bigger in Texas. Everything's always bigger in Texas. I don't know if that was. I don't know. George is just huge, but like I feel like he has a lot of songs that just should have been way bigger than they are.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. But yeah, him. Tony Lane is another bucket list writer I want to write with. And then I still want to get all the Peach Pickers together. I've written with Rhett, and I've written with Ben. I've written with Rhett and Ben at the same time, but we haven't got Dallas, Ben, and Rhett in there. And I want to do that. I've told Ben that, so we're trying to get it together.
Hell yeah, man. So, I'm trying to read. You just moved to Nashville in 2019. This is crazy, man. How fast. So did you just get out of college and just kind of run for the hills, or what'd you do? Did you kind of wait for a little bit, or what?
So I was actually coming up here while I was in college still. So I started coming up in 2017, I think was the first time that I came up to Nashville, and I was still in school there. And so I would go to school all year, and then in the summers, I started coming up and writing. So in 2017, I came up for a couple weeks and wrote. And then in 2018, I came up and lived with Ray the whole summer and wrote. And then the next summer, I graduated in May, moved straight up here. I didn't even want to wait on an apartment to get ready. I moved straight up here in May and lived with Drew Parker and his wife, Mallory, for a couple months before my apartment was ready. So I'll say I was their practice kid and then moved into my place. So I came, I spent every chance I had in town, even before I moved here full time, just getting to know people and trying to get my feet wet in it.
I love that. And did I read somewhere or hear somewhere you interned at River House too before you got on with them, or?
Yeah. So
for
school you had to do. So I went to UGA. There's a Georgia picture right there. So while I was in school, you had to do an internship, and I was going to school for business, agribusiness, and economics, and then also the music business program. So I wanted to do something in a music business internship because I knew that's what I wanted to do. So I talked Zeb at River House into giving me an internship, quote unquote. So if you're my professor, turn this off right now. But anyway, So I came to Nashville that summer, and I was the intern at River House, but all I did was plug songs into their song catalog at the publishing company on Wednesdays and took the trash out and ran like random errands for Cappy, like hauling kayaks or furniture or whatever. And all the rest of the time I was writing. So I was really writing 5 days a week and then just doing probably 2 hours of intern work a week, but checking off all the boxes like I was working a full-time internship class credit.
Good for you.
So,
Right, I would
Work
too.
the system. Any opportunity, right? Work the system.
Exactly.
So when did they finally just say, okay, internship's over, you're signed, you're in, everything else? I mean, or were you in at the get-go?
Trying to think back. That picture got me distracted. You just put it.
I think it's awesome, dude. I saw it the other day. I was like,
I feel like that was a fun conversation.
I
I feel like there was probably something going on in that conversation.
There was. I actually wrote with Jordan Walker today, but we that was a fun night. There was a lot of inside jokes born in that conversation right there.
I can tell.
But anyways, so I'm trying to think back. So I interned that summer. That was summer of 18. I was the intern. Then 19, I graduated, and so I didn't intern that 19 summer. They had already basically said like, hey, you're going to come up, and I wasn't signed yet, but they were already booking my rights, and River House knew that they wanted to sign me as a publishing or as a songwriter, and so they were already booking my rights. So as soon as I moved to town, they were running my calendar and stuff, but we were looking for a partner to co-venture with on the publishing side. So they were booking my rights, and in the meantime, we were shopping around other publishing companies to find somebody to partner with on the deal. And that's what led us to Tape Room at Ashley Gorley's place. And so I think it was, what's the date on that picture? I can't remember. June. Yeah.
June 24th, 2020.
Yeah. So I think we started working on that deal in March and finalized it in June. So
you started working on a deal in March of 2022, and you're working on all these plans of it, and bam, the whole world shuts down, man. I saw you like your first show out or first full band show or something not too long ago, or I thought I saw something you were just out playing again.
Yeah, man, that was crazy, and that's why the picture and everything got delayed because we were like, what's going on? The sign picture, but yeah, so we basically, as soon as I got rolling, we got shut down and couldn't play for a year. But I think, I say everything's God's time and nothing takes him by surprise. And I think it was supposed to work like that. I know it was, because if the COVID shutdown didn't happen, then I wouldn't have had, like, we did our showcase this past Wednesday where we invite the labels to come out and watch and hopefully, want to sign you to a record deal, or at least want to start taking meetings with you. And if COVID didn't hit, I would have done that showcase a year ago. And if we had done that showcase a year ago, I would have only had one of the songs written that I played at that showcase. So it was so much of a development time for me this last year, because we got to write so much and just grow as an artist and know, kind of hone in on the sound and what I want to say. And so it was really helpful, honestly. If you look at the pros of it and instead of the cons, obviously it'd been nice to play, but at the same time, it let me grow a lot,
And I've been hearing that a lot. I asked this question a lot just about like the pandemic and how it went shut down. And I really think 2020 might have been good for artists. I know it wasn't good financially at all, but for creative, just the creative side of things, because it really got you guys just to throw the brakes on and say stop and kind of get your shit together for a minute, because you didn't have to really worry about music as your number one thing. People got to go disc golf or got to actually live a little bit and do things. Mm-hmm. And I love hearing the positive stories that came out of it, because I think like so many good songs. I even remember telling you, like, I think beginning of the pandemic in 2020, I was like, dude, after this is over, we're gonna have some badass music that's gonna come out. Because I'm sure there's some people out there writing some awesome songs, and they are. Music's been coming out left and right. That's just been amazing.
Yeah.
So
yeah, absolutely.
As much as it hurt financially for everybody, I think for the creative side of things, it was a blessing in disguise almost.
Right, definitely, man. It really was. And you're right. I'm sitting on a pile of songs that we wrote that I love this last year. I mean, it was so hard to pick 8 to put on that project. I mean, I've not exaggerating. I've probably got enough songs, and not just regular songs, but songs I love, to put out 2 more full albums right now.
That's why we're seeing all these double and triple albums coming out. I mean, Church is dropping triple.
That's
I mean,
awesome.
a bunch of double albums. I mean, dude, hell, go for it. Throw a double Jordan Rowe album out there. We'll be all on it. You know that.
Yeah, I know.
Double album already? Shit, let's do this.
That's that finance part you're talking about.
Exactly, dude.
It's an important key.
That's where that comes in. It's like, oh shit. All right. 8's good. We'll get us through the next one. So this is a little off to the side, a little note I made. I saw that actually a fan of yours commented on something the other day, that you have custom duck tags made and you sell them at your shows. So tell me a little bit about this. I know you're an avid hunter, fisherman. Tell me about these duck tags, and I want to know about maybe one of your wildest hunting trips that you've ever had. Just like wild hunting story, dude.
Yeah, so I've actually got my real one on right now. Here, I'll take it off, hold it up to the camera. Maybe you can see it. I don't know if you will or not. But so basically, if anybody can see it, it's upside down. But basically, it's this little band with numbers on it. This is a real one. The ones I have at the shows, I got custom made with my name on there. I contacted the Band Society and got them made. But what the real ones are is a way to track and research ducks. And so to a duck hunter, a duck band is like the ultimate trophy you can get. So statistically speaking, they ban 300,000 ducks a year, but there's a population of about 49 million ducks. And so that tallies down to about 1 in 1,000 ducks that have bands on their feet. So if you kill a duck with a band on it, that's like you're taking pictures with it, you're telling all your buddies, you're fired up, you probably mounting that duck or either keeping his band. So I know all this. I did it for a public speaking speech back in college. But anyways, so that's what it is. So it's a way. So they track these ducks, and so they keep up with the population and how it's doing. They use it for conservation and research. So if you kill a duck, if you shoot a duck with this on its foot, you fight your buddies over who shot it, and then once you get that sorted out, you call the number on here. It's a 1-800 number or something, and you report that the number that's on the band, the big number, and they'll send you a certificate in the mail with what kind of duck it was, how many miles it flew from where they banded it at, how old it was, who banded it, like all this stuff, and you can frame it and hang it up. It's like a trophy.
That's like incredible.
He's making me want to be a duck hunter now. I was like, dude,
that's
awesome.
Incredible. Like I had no idea.
I never knew that. I knew they banded ducks, but I didn't know it was raw. I didn't know like it did all that too. That's awesome, dude.
I'm like baffled right now. That's so cool.
It's a prize in the sky.
Is that right?
Well, a surprise in the sky.
It reminds me of the old game. It's like, all right, come on, I'm gonna go with duck hunt.
Oh my god, that's how old we are. I literally was thinking of duck hunt too.
I used to TV and
I played that before.
No, that's a really cool. I had no idea that was a thing, but that's awesome. And I love that you sell it for your fans. Mm-hmm. Like, how unique is that? Like, who can say that they have those?
Right. Yeah. I mean, and
it's so unique to you, you know?
Right. So yeah, this is the only one. I've killed a couple goose bands, but they're rare, and especially like in South Georgia, we're not really in a flyway, so you hardly ever get them. So it's special. So I've always kept it on my necklace, and it's just a personality trait of mine. So I thought, well, it'd be a cool thing to have at a merch table, So you can use it. You can put it on a necklace, bracelet, charm, like whatever. Put them on your lanyard for our duck hunters that come to the shows and stuff.
That's cool.
I love that. Yeah, very cool.
That's a cool idea.
Mm-hmm.
That's really neat, man.
And you learn something new every day. I totally feel like I
like that you can tell me miles of flew. That's what I'm like. Oh,
yeah.
That's awesome.
This one I killed in South Georgia. It came from North Carolina. Flew 327 miles, and it was a 2-year-old.
Jeez, that's crazy.
That's cool.
So we got this Georgia mafia coming up into Nashville. We got this North Carolina mafia coming over. Man, I'm going to tell you, between the two states, I mean, y'all are bringing some talent, but you're surrounded by Drew Parker, a lot of people we talk about, Ray Fulcher, Driver, Luke Combs. How is it for you in the industry when you have people this close to you around you all the time? I mean, is it intimidating? Are you learning from it? I mean, are you kind of like, I know there's really, when you look at it, there's no competition at the end of the day. You're all rooting for each other. But I mean, it has to be intimidating at times because you want to succeed just as your friends do.
And
There's
competition there.
I was gonna say, if no one says that there's not any, it's a little bit.
I mean, having that,
but
that
it is a
circle,
supportive community.
having the circle you have of people. I mean, just for you, how is it? I mean, I'm sure you're lucky as hell to have those type of people around you. But I mean, I'm sure you're happy too to see them succeed.
Definitely, yeah, definitely. It's a healthy competition. But we've got a Dogs in Nashville is the name of our group message. And so we've got a text group of like all the Georgia boys here in town, and we'll talk about football games or whatever on there, and it's great. No, it really is. Like I say, that's why it helped a lot for me to get my start living with Ray. He was one of my first friends in town. Cole Taylor, Thomas Archer, met those guys like the first day I was in town, and they were Georgia boys. Knew I went to college there, and that really was the common ground that that we hit it off from, and so definitely helps. But it also on another hand, it's plays into the live market, and it's interesting. But Georgia, for example, South Georgia specifically, is so saturated with talent that it dilutes the live shows that come through there. So what I mean by that is they, you can almost get spoiled on it. There's so much talent that comes out of the Southeast, especially like that. You got all these people rolling through there. You might not sell as many tickets down there as you would in Iowa. For example, Luke Bryan can go to South Georgia and sell way less tickets now than he can in like Iowa or somewhere who doesn't get as much. It's supply and demand. So the states that don't have as many people and artists coming out of there almost, gravitate to it more than where we're from because everybody and their mom's an artist down there. You know what I mean? So as far as community in Nashville, it helps. But, everybody thinks, oh, we got it so good. But there's cons to it too. So it's, you got to count your blessings and count your curses too.
One of my favorite Georgia artists,
Absolutely.
Corey Smith, man. I love Corey Smith, dude.
Yeah, he's awesome.
When we moved on to Mississippi, it was like 2005, I think, when I first heard of him. I was like, dude, this guy's a hell of a writer. So I love that he's still trucking around. So, man, when I was looking at these pictures not too long ago, pulling pictures, you're just in Chicago not too long ago. That's where we're from right now. We're from Chicago. So coming up there, you look like you had some time off up here in Chicago. And I love it, man. And if you come here on the right day in the summertime, which it looked like y'all had a perfect day. So
yeah.
So you get to see that tourist stuff.
Yeah, what'd you guys see when you were up here?
Yeah, so that was so I'd been to Chicago one other time. I did Taekwondo back in the day. That's fun. Random fact is I'm a black belt in Taekwondo, and I had a tournament in Chicago.
That's
We
impressive.
were there for like 2 days, but I really didn't get to see much. I was younger, and so that was kind of my first time back and got to be a tourist. And so we went all around that's Trump Tower right there in the background. We went up there and saw it. We saw Michigan Avenue right there, the tourist part, and we did an architecture tour where that was a super cool thing, right? So yeah, in that picture, that river behind us, we got to go on a boat, and basically it took us down to the lake and then came back, and they told you all the history of the buildings on both sides. So like that big tall building in the back right there, if you look close, at the very top, the one that looks wavy, there's a hole up there, and that's an architecture design mistake, and they had to gut out that floor, those two floors, to let the wind pass through or the building would fall down.
Oh,
it was a cool thing. Got the best pizza I ever had, deep dish pizza.
Yes.
Illuminati, right?
Where'd you get the pizza from? Do you remember?
Mind blowing. Illuminati's. It sounds
Yes,
like
yeah,
sounds like Illuminati's, but it ain't.
yeah.
That's my
We've
favorite.
never done the architecture
Yeah.
tour, but I think that would be a really cool. We've never done that.
That river you're on every St. Patrick's Day, they dye it green.
Diet green.
Yeah.
That river is
Yeah.
crazy. Man.
Yeah. The architecture tour was awesome.
Yeah, we'll have to do that. That's cool.
They got a cool crime tour too. You don't.
Yeah, we haven't done that either. God, we've been to Chicago 100 million times. We don't do touristy stuff there.
You don't commit the crimes though. You just learn about the old crimes.
Yeah. Al Capone and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, everywhere you go, Capone's this, Capone's been there.
Yeah.
Capone had a house over there.
Yeah.
It's cool. That's cool. You got to do that though, for sure. Awesome.
So with your album that just came out, Bad Case of the Good Old Boy, just came out in August of 21. You had some really cool features on there. First, like Lainey Wilson, Ashlyn Kraft, two of my man, dude, they're on fire. Lainey just had her first #1, which is phenomenal. And then all the ones on 10-4, dude. And that was kind of cool. I was hearing how that came across. Go ahead and share real quick how you got all these guys. I mean, you had Eddie Montgomery on there. Who else did you have on there? Oh, was it Rhett Akins too?
Yeah, Rhett and Tracy Lawrence.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. So Lainey and Ashlyn, I was already great friends with those girls, and Lainey was, I want to say, I was thinking back today, I want to say I wrote my second song ever in town with Lainey. Back in those early years, those summers I was coming up. And so we've always been good friends. And I met Ashlyn early on too. And they actually live together now. So like last fall and stuff, we were at a bonfire over there watching the ACM Awards. And I remember that's where we got the idea from Mom Ain't Jesus. And so those features were very natural and organic and just from, our friendships. Now the Rhett Akins, Eddie Montgomery, and Tracy Lawrence, those came up. They're heroes of mine. Some of my favorite early 2000s and 90s artists. And I, grew up on those guys, and I wanted to try to shoot for the stars. And sometimes you'll hit a bird every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I say. So we were just like, hey, let's try to.
All they can do is no, right?
Or a duck with a tag on it.
Yeah.
So me and Rhett, we had written one song together at the time, and he took me deer hunt. We've been deer hunting one time, and so I had enough of a relationship with him. I called him up on the phone and asked him if he'd be a part of it, and he was all over it. And then I think the next one that we got a yes on was Eddie, and one of my managers there at River House, she used to work for Montgomery Gentry back in the day, Alicia Jones, and she has a good relationship with Eddie, and she sent him the song and told him, that I was trying to do more of that style of country and was a young artist under them, and wanted to know if he was interested, and he loved the song. It wasn't, like a favor or anything. He was like, I really do love this song. I love this style of stuff coming back and would love to do it. So we were pumped. And then Tracy is kind of a funnier story. We tried to reach out directly to his manager about doing it, and we couldn't get anything. And I was like, I'm not giving up. Like, I don't even believe Tracy's heard the song yet. So my producer is buddies with Tracy's producer, and Tracy's producer had actually mixed the demo of 10-4. When we recorded the demo, Tracy's producer, Julian King, mixed the demo on it. So Julian was familiar with the song already. So we reached out to Julian and said, hey, we would love Tracy to be on this song. Do you mind sending it to him and seeing what he thinks? Julian hits us back and says, Tracy loves it. He'll do it. So I'm like, let's go. And it's funny. So long story short, now me and Julian work together, and the stuff we recorded 2 weeks ago, Julian was the session engineer on it. So, it all, just leads one thing to another, but those guys are great.
Man. Everybody thinks it's a huge town. It's such a small town, dude.
That's awesome.
It's such a small town.
That's very cool.
That is awesome. It's awesome.
Dude, that's cool. That is so cool. All right, well, we're going to move on to our sponsored section of the night, our pod deck section. Let me pull up these cards. So earlier I pulled up 2 cards. All right. The first one is there a city outside of your hometown that you always look forward to playing? So I know we were talking about you visited Chicago, but is there a place where you go outside of maybe Georgia, anywhere in Georgia, that dude, the crowd's just they're ready for you. You have a good fan base. You're gonna have a good show.
I'd say so. I haven't really toured much outside of Georgia and Alabama, but as far as like a dream venue, a dream place to play, I'm gonna say Red Rocks in Colorado. Red Rocks Amphitheater.
Oh yeah. And then the next one I had is: are there any shows you've played that stand out to you as the most memorable? So maybe a show you've played that you just like you'll never forget this show. You just was on point that night.
Yeah, for sure. And when I say I don't tour much, I do tour everywhere. But I mean, as far as like headlining shows, yeah, we haven't done much out of the Southeast, but we've been opening for people all over the place. We're in Ohio, Illinois, and Kentucky this weekend with Dwight Yoakam. So we're all over the place, and they're all great. But I'm trying to think. I'd have to say one memorable show was my first full band headline show, and that was basically a hometown show in Tifton, Georgia, at Terminal South. That was fall of 2019, right before the shutdown. And that was the first time I got on a stage with a band behind me and sang my own songs, and that was so cool. And then I would say outside of that, a couple that have been great with John Party this summer in Oklahoma. That was the first time we played a show with a stage that big. It had a catwalk. I call it a dog walk. And anyways, that was super cool to get to run out.
Church believes dogs are better than cats, so
yeah. So at some of the Kojo shows, we opened, for Cody Johnson, and I remember I think the wildest one was in Louisiana, and that was fun. That was inside of a rodeo arena. It was so fun. It was a great crowd.
Dude, that's awesome. That's awesome because you're building the memories as you're going with these shows and everything. All right, so I pulled 4 songs earlier, and I'm gonna do this new section where it's melodies and memories. We're gonna hit one. I'm gonna play like 6 seconds of it, and tell me if you have a kind of a memory with this song. Go ahead and hit.
Let's preface this that he thought you were a lot older.
No, I think I still play this pretty.
Oh,
good.
okay. We're not. Okay.
Watch your chair too. You're gonna if you pull that cord, we're done for.
You don't want me to pull the plug on the show? Yeah. Is that what you're saying? Quit moving.
You pull the plug out that wall. We done. All right, go ahead, hit that yellow one.
Here's the first song.
X's and O's.
A letter from home.
Letters from Home, John Michael Montgomery. I know you're a 90s country music fan. You got a story or a memory with that song at all?
Dude, I remember that song definitely. I can remember riding around listening to it, and I'd say one thing to note, going back to my bucket list riders, is Tony Lane wrote that song. Mm-hmm. And I've heard the work tape of Tony Lane singing it, and gosh, it's as good as a recording. He sounds like a grandpa just speaking wisdom to you. But yeah, it's definitely a great song. I can remember riding around listening to that one when it was on the radio.
All right, go ahead and hit that green one.
All right.
So we had to go a little poppy on this one. Fall Out Boy, Sugar We're Going Down. Any stories with that one? Any memories come and play?
That takes me back to Athens. I remember that song being played like in all the late night. I think my mom's on here. That they played that in the library all the time.
Yes.
Go ahead. Go hit the yellow one.
All right.
So we kind of listened to this one earlier. Eric Church Lightning, 9-10 years old. You hear this song? Damn, dude. Tell me about the first time you ever heard that song. I just want to hear about that real quick.
I remember, I'm trying to remember where I heard it at the first time. I couldn't remember that, but I remember being like kind of freaked out a little bit. Like, see, I was 9 years old when I heard that first time, and I was like, whoa, because I remember I learned, later on that he kind of got inspired, I believe, by the movie Green Mile.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I remember I can remember my dad watching that, and my mom wouldn't let me watch that. She thought I'd get scared. Obviously, I probably would have. But
I wouldn't either.
I didn't really understand it, but I remember that it was kind of like spooky. But I remember it made me feel like wow, this guy's really, telling stories and making you feel something with his music. And, it speaks to a lot of people still. I remember, even you might know this or might not, but that song is the reason Ray Fulcher picked up a guitar, who I live with now and who helped me get my start in Nashville. So you could indirectly say that without Lightning, I might not even be sitting here in front of you right now, because Ray heard that song at Georgia Theater when Eric played there. There were like 50 people in the crowd, and Ray said he played that song, and I was like, I got to make people feel like that, and went and bought a guitar and started writing songs.
Yeah, dude, Selling Cars by Ray. I love that he puts that in the song, and he talks about how he saw Chief play Lightning his senior year. Man, it's just like that song, dude. I remember a story I have that I've told people in the past about, but GAC refused to play the video because it creeped everybody out. The music video just kind of like how you said that. Your mom won't let you say it, but the music video creeped everybody out, and they refused to play it.
Yeah.
And at the time, GAC was airing Tuesday Night Opry or whatever, and Eric was playing the Tuesday Night Opry at the Ryman Auditorium. You and I were in the crowd. I remember it. And his second song,
he played Lightning.
He sent the band away because the first song, I think he had the band. And the second song, he sent the band away, and he played a Lightning by himself, acoustic, in the Ryman Auditorium. Dude, you can hear a pin drop. And I'm surprised GAC didn't pull the plug that night, but they just let him play it and this and that. But I feel that was another one of his big FUs to everybody on his way to the top where he's at now. And kind of like, hey, you won't play my music video, but I'm gonna play the song on your radio, on your show, no matter what. So
yeah.
Nice.
I love how rebellious that dude is. Like it's
man. You got to, man. You got to at times, because if you have an art and you have and you're passionate about your music, you got to be that, because people are always going to try to beat you up over, try to change it or anything else. But you got to stay true to yourself. I mean, that's one thing that every artist I've ever seen that's gone to legendary status almost, they've always stayed true to themselves. So
yeah, well, they got a brand.
Yeah,
I harp and harp and harp on having a brand. If you don't have a brand, you're not going to have a long career. You know, people don't need another song. They need a brand. That's why when I say Kenny Chesney, you think of the beach.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like you got to have something people can and then hold on to. You can't just have songs.
You think of Eric Church, you think of a barroom fight. No,
exactly.
I went to a fight and an Eric Church concert broke out.
The Chief. You know what I mean? That's a thing. You know what I mean? He's got a thing.
Go ahead and play that last song. We'll do that last one.
Green, right?
Yeah, I think let's try it. Yeah.
Not too much of anything.
I had to throw this one in here. Craig Morgan, Love About Sundays, man. Give me a good Sunday story around with the family, man. Just something that reminds you of of that song.
Yeah, I mean, that's like I say, I remember riding around listening to that song, and that song takes me back. You know, every time I hear that, I mean, it just takes me right back to where I grew up. And I mean, everything he's singing about, I've lived. You know, coming home after church and picking a backyard football team. You know what I mean? I can remember going straight from church to Sunday lunch at my grandma's and playing football in the backyard with all my cousins. You know, I mean, that's what we did. There were baked beans there. We read the old newspaper. You had the kids that cut up in front of you at church or that turn around and just stare at you the whole time. And you're like, dude. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, string on that one.
Yeah, and yeah.
It's true.
That's awesome. I love that. All right, man. We're gonna go ahead and do our hot seat. So there's 10 questions. I'm gonna ask you the first thing that pops to your mind. Just spit it out, man. I had changed this first question a little bit, so go ahead and hit that music. It's 60 seconds. That's a 7 seconds. You gotta hit the 60. Right? Oh, there you go. All right. First CD you ever purchased?
I think Jock Jams.
Yeah, all right. If you could only listen to music from one decade, which decade do you choose?
The 90s.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Who has the best pizza you ever ate?
Lou Malnati's.
Fuck yeah. Sorry. The strangest thing you've ever seen in the middle of the road.
The what now?
The strangest thing you've ever seen in the middle of the road.
How's it going? Oh, gosh, I don't know.
We've had some weird answers on this one.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like, I'm sure I've seen something super, super strange. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Let me come back to that one. I'm
So
trying to,
you can pass.
What was the first?
I have to have a good answer for that. Yeah.
What was your first car you ever owned?
GMC Sierra.
Hell
I haven't ever owned a car. The bank's owned all of them, but the first one I drove was
yeah. Well, we don't own one right now.
That's true.
Yeah, we do.
We do own
Yeah,
one.
all right.
We do own one.
What's one thing people buy that you think is a waste of money?
by waste of money.
Yeah.
Oh, I could harp on this one. I mean, liabilities when you should be buying assets. You know what I mean? It's like, I feel like that's where a lot of young people go wrong. They start buying all these liabilities instead of assets when they're young. You know, stuff that just doesn't matter. Like spending, eating out when you shouldn't, or like buying 10 pairs of shoes or pocketbooks when you got, one pocketbook that carries all your money.
All right, I like that, man. I like that.
That's probably the best answer we've had.
Yeah, I do like that. What's your hometown famous for?
My mom's Lemon Lush. She's in a magazine right now that I got at the house. I can't remember what the name of it is. It's this new thing they've got, and they're like spotlighting all the different towns and counties in Georgia. And the 8L page is her with the Lemon Lush, which is the best dessert ever.
Oh man, that is nice. Awesome. All right. 8-hour drive between shows. You got one gas station stop for snacks. What three snacks or what three items are you buying inside that gas station?
A fast break, Reese's fast break, Twizzlers, and probably Slim Jim.
All right, I like that. All right, man. The last one I got before you go in and get you to play a couple songs. I know we're running a little over. You got to do a lot of cool stuff, man. You sang with some legends on 10-4 already. You've lived and hung around with some of Georgia's finest already. What is still on? I mean, you're young in the game, but what's on your bucket list, man? What's gonna make you feel like you came to Nashville and you kicked its ass? What's gonna make you get to that point or make you feel? What's on that bucket list, dude?
There's a few things. I'm gonna say having at least 2 number ones. And obviously you want more than that, but a lot of people have rang the bell and then never rang it again. So I'm going to say having multiple number ones. I'm going to say a big CMA award or an ACM award, and then headlining an arena,
cool.
is go to. But I got to go back. I thought of the wildest thing I've ever seen in a road.
Yeah.
So one time I was fishing in Palatka, Florida, and I'm fishing in this little canal, and I look up, and in the road, standing out there, like you can see into the road from the canal when fishing, was a monkey. And this monkey, it was like a little pet monkey, had a diaper on it, came down, walked down to the dock, and was like swinging around on stuff while I was fishing. And the lady came out, and she had they said there were wild monkeys on this island out where we fished, and they found 2 of these monkeys and raised them. And so there was a wild monkey just chilling out there fishing or when was playing in the road.
I would think I'd be like, I'm on something, man. What are they putting in the water down here?
Yeah, it was the most Florida thing ever.
It sounds like it.
That might beat Ryan Nelson's answer on that one.
That's cool.
It's funny. You mentioned Alicia Jones earlier. Talking, was it that we played?
Yeah.
Oh my God, have you heard him yet, dude?
Yeah. I haven't gotten right with him or anything yet, but we went to Topgolf the other day. He's a cool dude. I got to meet him. I've only met him one time, but I've heard a lot of good things.
Yeah, dude, man. I heard his voice, and she's like, "Oh, you gotta get him on." I'm like, "Yeah. Let's get him on the show sometime." But I'm glad you brought her up and everything else because she's definitely sent some love. That's how I think she mentioned you, and that's how you and I got connected on this. So huge shout out to Alicia on that, and thank you for everything at River House. You guys are amazing. So, but all right, man, we're gonna get you. I'm gonna shut up, get you to do a couple songs. 10-4 and the good ones do. So we kind of talked about 10-4 a little bit, but the good ones do. Tell me where this song came from.
The good ones do. That was an idea. The title I brought to the Warren Brothers, Lance Miller. So the Warren Brothers, if you're not familiar, that's Brett and Brad. They have written a lot of hits.
Tim McGraw, right?
Yeah, they write a lot of Tim McGraw stuff, and Lance does too. Lance had the last single, I Called Mama. And Brett and Brad, they wrote like Highway Don't Care. They've got several great songs. But anyway, so I knew that was a good crew to bring that title with, or title to, and so we went in there and they loved it. And I remember it was one of those songs that you knew as soon as you started writing it, like 2 lines in, like this is gonna be special if we don't mess it up. And so I remember, we kind of blew through the verses pretty quick, or the first verse, and the chorus, and then we got to the hook, and we got stuck on it forever. Probably an hour and a half, and because we knew it had to be perfect for the hook to land right. And I remember Lance finally said, every girl will make you feel like she got lucky too. And we were like, dang, Lance, where's that been? So anyways, we put that down and wrote the rest of it. It was a special song, and it's special to me because that's my favorite kind of song to write. It's something that really speaks to the heart and has deeper lyrics to it. I feel like that's missing, frankly, today from a lot of the music. So
I agree.
It reminds me of an Eric Church song. It reminds me. I remember telling them boys in the room, I'm like, how would Eric Church write this? That's how I want to write it. And so
I had Jeremy Spillman on, and he said one time while writing with Eric, and I've always talked with people about this, is he feels like it's a boxing match, like they're sparring back and forth. Like he puts out his best lyric and someone else puts out their best lyric. So I don't know if that makes sense to you at all, or next time you write it or something, try boxing with your co-writer and see what comes out of it, man.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I love how he put that though.
Figuratively, not actually.
He's a black belt. So
sometimes we really do want to box each other.
Yeah, right.
I remember though when Spillman was on and he said that. Like I thought that was really interesting. Like they just are constantly trying to like challenge each other, and it brought out like the best out of I don't know, whatever. I don't write songs, but I thought that was a really cool.
No, you want to box that guy that comes in and gives you that one lyric, and then you have to put his name in the song credits. And you're like, damn it, why'd you have to open the door? Shut the door and lock it. Yeah, you don't want to need beyond this song. I don't need that lyric. No.
Yeah. We always say a word's a third.
Yeah, exactly, right? That's funny. I love that. All right, I'm going to go ahead and be quiet, give you the stage for 10-4, and the good ones do, and I'll come back after the second song, man.
All right, so here's the good ones, dude. Every song don't make you cry, raise a drink and stay all night, or make you sick, yes, a thing or two. But the good ones do. And every daddy don't take you fishing, every truck don't make you miss it when you trade it in and get you something new. But the good ones do. And every girl don't dance barefoot in the rain, and every girl don't stay when she couldn't walk away, and every girl don't like a man in worn out boots, and every girl don't make you feel like she got lucky too. But the good ones do. Every friend don't have your back, every story don't make you brag, and every preacher don't make you step out of that pew. Every coach don't go all in and make a man out of a kid who only had a mama to throw one to. But the good ones do. And every girl don't dance barefoot in the rain, and every girl don't stay when she couldn't walk away, and every girl don't like a man in worn out boots, and every girl don't make you feel like she got lucky too. But the good ones do. And every movie ain't got a cowboy in it. And Every jukebox ain't got King George spinning, but the good ones do. Yeah, them good ones do. Every girl don't dance barefoot in the rain, and every girl don't stay when she could walk away. Every girl don't like a man in worn out boots, and every girl don't make you feel like she's got a lucky too. And every sunset and it's sitting on me and you. But the good ones do. Yeah, them good ones do. That's the good ones do. We'll go right into 10-4. Let's see. Breaker, all trucks in the way back, calling all coolers to the brown bag. This ain't a six-pack sitting in the floorboard. It's the kind of night you need at least 10 for. And if you get in a bind on your way out, that four-wheel drive gets sundown. That red playground's up to the door. Call a buddy, that's what you got 10 for. And if you're thinking I'm a certified son of a gun on a whole lot of country in my old half-ton, work like a dog till the work gets done. Get the beer off my back if you ain't got none. If you think I got them back, it's a good old boy. Well, you're damn right, buddy, that's a big 10-4. Come on. Baby's looking good in her Wranglers. She's sweeter than a strawberry acre. She gets it from her mama and the good Lord. There's more that I could give her than 10 for. If you're thinking I'm a certified son of a gun, all a whole lot of country in my old half-ton, work like a dog till the work gets done. Get the beer off my back if you ain't got none. You think I got them back, it's a good old boy. Well, you damn right, buddy, that's a big 10-4, yeah. Yeah, you thinking I'm a certified son of a gun, all a whole lot of country in my old half-ton, work like a dog till the work gets done. Get the beer off my back if you ain't got none. If you think I got them back, it's a good old boy. You're damn right, buddy, that's a big 10-4. Yeah, you're damn right, buddy, that's a big 10-4. Thinking back too many times I take you to the house, I say Roger, that 10-4 over and out. All right.
I love that one. Yeah, I love the feel good. I mean, like you can definitely tell you love the 90s a little bit more. Like, I got a little Joe Diffie feel out of that and just everything else, man. I love that song.
Oh yeah, dude, I love some Joe Diffie. And it's something women like about a pickup man.
Hell yeah, those are some classics back then.
Heck yeah, dude.
Dude, well, thank you so much for spending the last hour with me. Dude, I wish you nothing but the best, man. I cannot wait to see what you're going to do. What's the rest of the year look for you, man? You got any more shows coming up other than Dwight Yoakam stuff you said you had?
Yes, we got.
And then let people know where they can find you too.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it, Giselle. We got Dwight Yoakam dates this weekend in Troy, Ohio, Louisville, Kentucky. I just learned that's not Louisville, Louisville. You got to say it like you got a mouthful of cake, Louisville. And then Effingham, Illinois. And then, but after that, we got a few weeks off. I'm gonna go get in a deer stand, and then we got November 6th with Cole Swindell in Fort Walton Beach. And so if it ain't too cold, I'm gonna get a little tan down there.
Yeah.
Then we got Jamison Rogers after that. So we'll be with Jamison in Oxford, Mississippi, Chattanooga, Tennessee, Knoxville, Tennessee, Athens, Georgia, and Nashville.
Nice. Did that Oxford show at the Lyric?
Yes.
Dude, I love that. I saw a church there back in the day, man. I love that place.
Yeah, I'm excited about that one. That's one of my favorite ones I'm looking forward to. And Texas A&M plays Ole Miss down there that weekend, so it should be a fun weekend. So, but yeah, so we're down there. And you can find me anywhere you listen to music: Apple, Spotify, Pandora, YouTube, all those good places. It's Jordan Rowe, and we've got like 11 or 12 songs out now, I think. And then on social media, Instagram and Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, all that stuff's Jordan Rowe Music.
Oh, I love it, man.
And then also, I was gonna say I wish I got this info to you earlier, but we literally, like, just this week, I haven't even posted about it yet. We started our online merch store. And so these hats I've got on right here say support local farmers, and they're on there. And on the back, it's got our name. And
hell yeah, man.
Basically what we're doing is had the idea, like I say, I went to agribusiness school at Georgia in the College of Ag and grew up around agriculture. So I believe, farmers are some of the most important people we have. So I started this campaign, and we're going to take a portion of the proceeds from that merch and start scholarships for students that want to go to ag school. So if anybody wants to support that and help out that, we just launched that. That's on my website, jordanroweofficial.com. We've got t-shirts and all that stuff, duck bands and all. So check it out.
We'll make sure I put all that in the show notes. Yeah, I'll make sure I put that store in there so everybody go check that out, man. That's amazing, man. I love that you're doing that because honestly, the farmers make the world go around, dude. I love it.
Absolutely.
I work at a cannabis dispensary up here. We open up very early in the morning, and our farmers are some of our first customers because we're really close to Wisconsin. So we get a lot of Wisconsin farmers coming down. They're like, "Hey, we're just trying to start our day too." That's like, "Hey, good, go for it, y'all."
Yeah,
I love it. I love it. Well, man, thank you so much for everything tonight. Go ahead and take about 5-minute break, and then we'll bring you right back for the after show, man. So I can't wait.
All right, sounds good. Thank you for having me.
All right, dude. We'll talk in a few minutes, man. Thank you. All right, guys, that was fun. What'd you think?
It was really fun. I liked him. It was a lot. Yep, very cool.
That guy's, man.
He's amazing.
He's the future. Like, he's just like.
You're still like underwater.
I don't know why.
It's not me. It's only you.
I don't know. I don't know why I'm doing that.
I don't know either. It wasn't like that all night until just now. Anyway, it's fine. Show's over.
What if I mute this one? Now am I coming back a little bit better now? Am I still underwater? Whatever, so we mute these. So we'll have to edit it out. No, I thought tonight was awesome. I love where he's going. I love that he's bringing out the old school sound with a little bit of freshness to it. I mean, that makes sense.
Oh, for sure. 90s country is by far like my favorite, and like absolutely.
A little bit of a void.
You can tell he's got the influence. Mm-hmm.
I think he's definitely
punching it. Oh, and he's so he's gonna be. He's amazing. I liked him a lot. He'll be great.
That was fun. All right, y'all. Well, thank you guys for joining us tonight on episode 102 with Jordan Rowe. And the kids off doing amazing things. I want to wish Jordan nothing but the best. I can't wait to see what he does next. Make sure you guys catch up on everything you missed, past episodes over at GaininFastOnMemphis.com. Make sure you're following our Instagram page at FastOnMemphis_podcast for all updates. And we can't wait to see you guys next week, man. So join in. We'll see you guys then. You can play the outro.
I'm still trying to process why we're getting this fishbowl all of a sudden. Like, it's so echoing, and I don't know why. All right.
The Gainin Fast On Memphis podcast with Aaron Schreiber is brought to you by Arlo Revolution. As we close the book on another chapter, remember, music gives a soul to the universe, wings to the mind, flight to the imagination, and life to everything. Next week, Aaron connects more melodies and memories with other fans and the artists they love. Thanks for being a part of this musical journey, and we'll see you next time on the Gainin Fast On Memphis podcast with Aaron Schreiber.